stopped watching television. I really got sick of just being exposed to the mega media out there. And within the last 2 or 3 years, I've been watching more cable access television programs like yours, Alex. And what I wanted to say is that when I started watching television again after the year of what I call my I got sensitized again. I got humanized again because I wasn't watching crap on television. I was absolutely shocked and appalled at the violence
interacting
that
with
I
this
saw on television.
Technology is more than just the programming. It's the actual physical effect that the TV has on you, especially digital. The physical effect that a cell phone has on you by constantly interacting with it. And so there's the programming element of it, and it's the subliminals. And then there's just the basic interface with it and how it affects your aura, if you will, because we are electrical beings here. It does affect us on some level.
Your spirituality just sort of, it sucks everything out of you when you watch all this
and
violence.
You have to be careful with that. You know, you want to be able to look objectively at this thing. You know, it's like, if you realize, if you could take the dark side or the devil or the evil side that's creating all this and realize that this is an entity standing buck naked in a 5 million watt spotlight, and they're scared to death. You know, they're scared to death of the light of truth that's on them. And so I've faced off in the past with some really heavy entities that are non-physical by just look at it for what it is, put the light a day on it, keep the light there, look at it with love in your heart, and you have the power to change much more so than you would if you were fighting against them, you know, pushing. You can get hurt when you push against, you know, something hard.
Well, that gets back to my original comment about if you really want to effectuate change, you have to do it in your day-to-day life. You can't like shoot for the moon and then expect the stars. You're not going to get it. You have to deal with the people that you come in contact with every day to effectuate change. I really believe that.
Well, thank you.
On a personal level.
Anyway,
thank you for taking my call, Alex.
There's a couple other things I also want to get into, Dee Dee, but on that thought, I also want to caution against saying that because I think, therefore it is. There's so many different perspectives on how to affect change, and I think there should be more mutual respect on people just trying to do a change, however they're trying to do it, instead of say, do it this way. I'm not necessarily saying the caller was saying that, but I hear a lot of this. There's a lot of this finger pointing. I want to briefly, the camps we talk about, left, right, divide, divide and conquer. This immigration debate, what it really is partially is a real ID, national ID card setup. So on one end, they've got all the anti-immigration folks blaming the Mexicans for all these problems instead of the big banks. Then you've got the people that are totally open borders that don't want any accountability in terms of immigration. It's like two well-funded groups going at it in the cage. When you look at Arizona and the riots that took place there, the anger, you go and look at the anarchist protests, and then you're seeing more of that. Oh, so this is how we're affecting change, by letting our emotions get the best of us, and literally turning on our brothers and sisters, our neighbors, instead of realizing what kind of a system we're in.
Well, there's provocateurs, people paid to go into all the groups. We have them, and we easily can flush them out pretty quickly. But there's people being paid to go in here and get people to fight with each other on the group, you know, on the same group. Us against them is the big thing that distracts people. And the thing is, you were saying about, you know, everybody does have their right to have their opinion, but what's right for the greater whole, you know, I mean, the plan is, for instance, the Ron Paul thing of ending the Fed. And let's audit the Fed. Well, we're actually doing that. It was very successful, but we're doing that. And the Rothschild regime wanted the Fed is a bankrupt bank. They wanted it audited. So if the people think that they can do it, then that's the trick. If people think that fighting amongst themselves is going to solve the problem, then that's the trick.
Hey, Bill, camera 3. Now, one other thing I want to mention, you mentioned non-physical beings. And could you elaborate more on that and your experiences that you had just mentioned?
Well, you know, Alex, there's everything that you can imagine that goes on, and you think of it as heaven being somewhere separate from us, or that the fourth dimension somewhere off somewhere on Pluto or some other planet, but it isn't. All of it is happening at once. This consciousness is all occurring at once. We're locked in here to this little play, but we know that consciousness creates reality. It created this table. So if that's the truth, then if we can perceive a higher way of living or a way that's blessed or compassionate and intelligent, then that exists right now, right here. So if you live moment to moment by moment, knowing that you're in an unlimited universe, and when we want to lock down and go out dancing, and drink a beer, then you take your reality and you focus it down in this limited way. But if your heart's desire is to be out here with the angels and in the higher order intelligence, which I call ETs, higher order intelligence, because they're greatly evolved beings, and they can show themselves to us, they communicate with us. I mean, I've had some amazing experiences.
Now, what you're saying and others have been saying about extraterrestrial life, ascension, other beings out there that might be our helpers here in this realm.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That's on another level than where the Vatican's about to come from. There's something I want to mention to the audience tonight, Dee Dee, and I don't know how much you've been covering the news lately.
You mean the new observatory?
There's about to be some big announcements coming out of the Vatican.
Well, the observatory, the big telescope that they founded is called Lucifer.
Right.
I sent you that link, I think.
This is not the first time that a telescope has been named after something likened to Lucifer or the devil or El Diablo. Just take Columbia. There's different names for these different. But the interesting thing is, here's Fox News saying there's going to be a big announcement coming from the Vatican, which has a long history of destroying information from the past through their crusades. Other forms of information about our origins as humans. The Vatican's, they've got this track record. And all of a sudden we've got this child sex slavery rings being exposed all over the world, including the Vatican. What makes us think that they're the ones that are going to be honest with us about what's going on? And in terms of people that, in yourself as well, and David Icke, there's a lot of people that have been looking at these theories about ETs, and they're not about the Stephen Greer disclosure version, but more about they already are here. And if they are already here, I would assume that they're controlling our government, directing what's going on. Not that the powers that be are about to make a big announcement, but the question still arrives. What is coming in reality that the government is preparing for that makes them feel that they need to make some announcements? We're seeing more sightings around the world, and some of them look like holograms. You look up in Moscow, and it's obviously a hologram. You can look on YouTube. These are real videos, real mainstream reports, but you can tell there's something not quite right about these things they're calling potential alien spacecrafts. Yeah. Why do you think they're toying with us like this? All the movies, all the different stuff coming out, predictive programming.
Well, they want to control everything, and they want to do it through fear. And if
this idea the ETs are coming, that they're bringing into the consciousness.
Well, yeah, because they know that they're already here, and then that they know that there is an organized effort. Organized effort off-world to assist us here. And people say, well, why don't they just land on the White House lawn? Well, they'd be shot to pieces if they did that, and it would scare people half to death. So anything that they can do to make you think that they're going to save you, that it's that old us and them thing, Be afraid because it's them and then there's us, But people have woken up. There's no us and them. There's just us.